My second favorite team in college football is Navy. Well, second favorite college when it comes to college sports, period, is the Naval Academy. Well, as we saw this past season, they can be a problem for most teams now. I'm not saying that they will still be at that level at the end of the year, but if you take a look, they went 10-3. So even if they aren't that massive of a problem, they're still a problem. They've got what could be they've got a manageable chance this year to do the same thing they did last year. I'm really looking forward to what's coming up, but we're going to review what happened last year. Heidenreich, Teska, and Horvath, those three, backed up by Kent, a defense that was staggering. I mean, there were several dudes on that defense. I mean, how, how else can you go? So I'm going to be covering Horvath because he's coming back. It's military academy. Of course, he's got a chance to come back. I'm going to be covering so many of what went on. So let's get into it.
Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Nealon. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there.
Okay, let's first go over their record. Convincingly beat Bucknell. It's Bucknell. They convincingly beat Temple. They fought a good one against Memphis, 56-44 against Memphis. People were talking at the beginning of the year that Memphis had a shot of going to the playoffs. That Memphis was they were talking about Memphis was probably going to be a playoff team. And they went 56-40 and it went 56-44. Convincingly beat UAB, very convincingly beat a weakened Air Force team, very convincingly beat Charlotte. Unfortunately, they suffered a nasty one versus Notre Dame. It was 51-14. You saw where Notre Dame went. Rice, here's my thing, and I've been saying this all year. I honestly believe that Horvath, I think there were some injuries, some just eh, about the right after the Notre Dame game, and then you take a look at Rice had just switched coaches, so people didn't know what to expect. It was a 24-10 loss for Navy. I think it was just a simple they just dealing with being banged up after that Notre Dame game. Then that South Florida game that they handled easily, 28-7. Then they lost 35 nothing to Tulane. Horvath actually did get injured in that game. The quarterback had to be switched over. Woodson's a good quarterback. He couldn't get moving like he needed to. Heidenreich just couldn't get the rushing in that was necessary. It just wasn't a they weren't able to get going like they needed to. Heidenreich just didn't do what he needed to do in that game. So it was Woodson and Teska. And Hutchison came in key, but Hutchison isn't really a name that you really hear about on that team. Then they got back to form. Even though Woodson finally got everything going again against East Carolina, 34-20. Then they stomped Army. Hey, Army Navy, go Navy, beat Army. That's what happened. And then they went down. Okay, Oklahoma coaching was a factor in this, but they still beat Oklahoma in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. You can't tell me that it wasn't a valid game. Horvath did what he did. Kent stepped up in that game. This was just a good Navy team. Okay, they went 10-3. They lost. You knew they were going to lose to Notre Dame. Notre Dame was just rolling this year. Rice, that one was just like I said, they were beat up. Tulane was a good team that Navy was having to deal with losing Horvath for a little bit. You know, it happened. This was still an amazing record. It really was. Okay, we're going to cover Blake Horvath. In my opinion, Blake Horvath was having a far better season than most people were giving him credit for. He got hurt and is still up there. Look what they did. This man should have been a Heisman candidate. It is stupid that he wasn't. Okay, he passed for 1,353 yards. He was the leading rusher for this Navy team, 1,254. And that's not saying anybody else had less or a heck of a lot less. It was just that one, it was divided up a lot more. So Horvath had a lot of weapons that included himself. Threw for 13 touchdowns, intercepted only 4 times. He was sacked 9 times. He rushed 176 times for 1,254 yards. Like I said, he had 17 touchdowns by himself. That was what was going on with a very, very amazing quarterback. You take a look at what this team was. Okay, Horvath was QB1. Braxton Woodson came in, had a really good time while he was on that field. Alex Teska was a fullback. He came in for one play. Luke Hutchison, a wide receiver, came in for one play, wasn't much of anything. Eli Heidenreich, 2 times, not much of a thing, but still. But Horvath, good lord. Good lord. Okay, now the rest of the offense, receiving yards, Eli Heidenreich, running back, got 671 receiving yards. You take a look at Alex Teska. I've already covered Horvath. So Alex Teska, 124 carries, 568 yards, 8 touchdowns. Eli Heidenreich, 65, 444, 3 touchdowns. Shaba Fofana, fullback, 59, 251, and 2 touchdowns. Brandon Chapman, 48, 250, and touchdowns. Braxton Woodson, 49, 173, and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, it really was this way. Shane Reynolds, another fullback, 23, 83, and 1. Nathan Kent, a wide receiver, 2, 51, and 1. Now, let's go over to receiving. Eli Heidenreich, 39 catches, 671 yards, 6 touchdowns. Brandon Chapman, 18, 257, and 4. Alex Teska, 12, 229, and 2. Nathan Kent, 10, 10, 222. Okay, pardon me, I had that wrong. Teska's 12, 229, and 2. Kent, 10, 222, and 2. Cody Howard, a tight end, 460 and 1. This offense was so spread out that nobody could figure out where to go. Yes, Horvath took a lot of it, But if you slow down Horvath, hey, he had so many other weapons in his arsenal. Nobody could figure out where to go with him. Yeah, a lot of it was on Horvath, but Teska, Heidenreich, Kent, Fofana, Chapman, you name it, these guys were stepping up every chance they could. Now, the defense, Colin Ramos, linebacker, leading tackler, 129. Deshaun Peel, a cornerback, had 5 interceptions. This was what was going on there. Ramos, 129 tackles. Jacob, 100 tackles. Rayon Lane, the third, 70. Luke Paris, 68. Landon Robinson, 61. Mabedi Williams Jr., 59. Jackson Campbell, 58. Those were all the ones above 50. Notice how that spread out. Justin Reed had 6 tackles. Giffen Willis had 3 tackles. Colin Ramos had 3 tackles. You take a look, or tackles, sacks, I'm sorry. They had 29 sacks on the year. They were getting to the quarterback. Oh, and touchdown from interceptions. Rayon Lane, he had 2 interceptions, one of which he returned for a touchdown. You have Deshaun Peel, 5 interceptions, Hunt, 2 of those returned for touchdowns. Yep, you got that right. You're looking at they had 17 interceptions between them, and 3 of them got returned for touchdowns. You look at forced fumbles, 14. They caused 14 fumbles. This is what they were doing as a defense. They weren't just, everybody's talking about, oh well, they're triple option. Nobody else plays. Their defense was stepping up in ways that was scary to teams. Okay, they couldn't get it done against Notre Dame. Look how many teams did. Okay, after Northern Illinois, the one loss they had until the national championship, Notre Dame just needed a little bit of a wake up call. I would have preferred it to have come with Navy, but their defense was scary. Even though they weren't playing the creme de la creme, they were still scary. Navy has got just one heck of a team. Do I want to see. Now, this is a team, they've had one national title. Unfortunately, that's all they've had. But you're looking at a team that, you know, Brian Newberry is the dude there. The man's put in an offense that has so many different looks that you can't tell what's going on. He played for Southern, or he was a graduate assistant at Southern Arkansas, defensive coordinator, defensive backs coach at Washington and Lee, assistant defensive backs coach at Lehigh. Washington and Lee went to Elon, went to Sewanee. Navy's his first head coaching job, Kennesaw State, Northern Michigan. You take a look at this, and this being his first time, he's 15-10. Went 5-7 his first year, and then went 10-3. That's how much he turned around that team. It's scary what he's doing there, and on top of that, he's still got to face Air Force next year. Still got to face a Notre Dame team that is just nasty. This is not. This is a Navy team that is going to be wrecking records next year. I really do see them as being just as scary next year. But hey, That's the way I look at it. This is Paul with Redneck Sports. Hey guys, by the way, like, subscribe if you like the video. Help me out. Have a good day now. Bye.
I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.